This is the new 2026 Hoyt RX10 Ultra. For 2026, Hoyt has made some major improvements from the previous year's models. I'm keen to get the box open to see what they've done. I've got the bow in the wilderness color. So this is the RX10 Ultra. You can see the more beefier limb pocket, and this is the XTS exact tuning system, and we'll dive into this a little bit later. But this is what I believe everybody's been asking for, an easier way to micro tune your bow. On the cam side, it's the HBX Gen 4. The roller guard here looks a little bit different from the 25 model. I can see that there's going to be something that we're going to be able to screw in here. Obviously the inline system is exactly the same. Let's get this bow build and dive into the specs on the bow. The RX10 is available in 4 different configurations. You've got the RX10 SD, the short draw version. It's from 23 inches up to 27 inches with the HBX cam. The ATA speed on that SD is 310 feet per second, but do remember that they measure that at 27-inch draw. So it is blistering fast for the short draw archers. The RX10 is a 342 ATA configuration. The HBX cam is available for you from 25 inches all the way up to 30 inches. It's a 30.5-inch axle to axle and a 6 1/8 on brace height. And obviously a nice bow for most guys, nice, small and compact. And on this RX10 Ultra platform, there is a long draw version, the RX10 Ultra LD. Its ATA speed is 355 feet per second. That will be at a 33-inch draw length. The cam setting will be available from 31 1/4 all the way up to 33. The brace height is 7.5 inches and the axle to axle is going to be 33.5 inches. And then the RX10 Ultra, my choice for 2026, an ATA speed of 340 feet per second. It's got a brace height of 6 3/8 and the axle to axle length of 33.5. The cam will be able to adjust from 26 inches all the way up to 31, and the bow configuration in poundage will be from 40 pounds all the way up to 80 pounds in 10-pound increments. The most exciting thing for 2026 is obviously the XTS system, an easy way to tune your bow. But first, let's get a loop on the bow, because I do want to check the poundage if it's set at 70 and if the specs are right out the box. I've got the peep and the loop fitted. I'm going to check the poundage. It's supposed to be 70 pounds. It's out the box. We haven't changed anything. So it's always important for me to know that the bows are accurate when it comes out the box. That is 71.6 pounds. It's nice to see that the bow is just over 70 pounds. Out of the box, nothing has changed. So I want to see if this is at 29 inches, and while we're at it, we're going to check timing as well. The bow is now at full draw. First I want to check the actual draw length setting. This bow out of the box is 29 1/8. That for me is good for out of the box. With my draw length set at 29 inches as it is here, I'm expecting this bow to be about 10 feet per second slower, because for every inch that you're shorter than 30 inches, you will lose 10 feet per second. This bow with an ATA of 340, I should be getting with a 350 grain arrow round about 330 feet per second. Checking the draw length now while we're at full draw here with the Huta shooter. I'm checking the timing. I immediately saw both of the modules are touching the cables at the same time. Out the box, it's nice to see the timing is in. The bow is set at 29 inches and the bow is actually at the poundage. I'm putting on the Hamskea Hybrid Hunter Pro micro adjustable rest. And the sight I'll be using is going to be the Spot-Ock Boonie with a dovetail mount, 5 pins. A nice add-on that I like is the GhostX 2.0. And I'm pairing that with Hoyt stabilizers, 10 inches in the front, 8 inches at the back. The bow is assembled, everything is on. I don't want to wait anymore. I want to shoot the bow and just get a feel and my first impression of the new RX10 Ultra. Got that nice feel, nice solid wall like I'm used to, nice string angle. We all know these bows are vibration free, but it's so soft in the hand. This is such a nice bow and the sound is quiet. Something that I would recommend you go to your pro shop and just shoot it yourself to feel what this bow feels like. The bow's in the hood to shoot. The axle to axle, I'm just quickly going to show you guys a measurement with it being in the static position. That is 33.5 inches before we draw the bow. This bow is now at full draw. You can see on the timing marks everything is in and everything is fine. I just want to be careful here. So with this bow here, you can see that that's about 31 inches in axle to axle. But what I do want to show you, what I do believe is very important, is when the bow is at full draw, you can see that the actual string angle is starting from all the way at the top, at 12 o'clock of the bow, and the bottom it's the same. So with this bow at full draw, and just to be careful with this measurement, that is going to give you a 36.5 inches. And why I do like this is because it gives you a more stable platform. It's going to be more forgiving. It's going to suit the longer draw arches. 31 inches, definitely better. And for me, being a 29-inch archer, I do like my peep closer to my eye. I like the string angle. I like not having to dig into the string itself and with a lot of pressure on my face with a very sharp string angle and short axle to axle bow. And that is what is nice about the HBX Gen 4 cam system. I want to put this over a chronograph, and this arrow is 350 grains. And with the bow being at 70 pounds, 29-inch draw length, I'm expecting this arrow to shoot roughly about 330 feet per second. Then it will be very accurate on what they advertise the speed's going to be. I am going to shoot a heavy arrow as well, 650 grains, just to do a little bit of a comparison with a heavy arrow. And then my hunting arrow is 500 grains, and this is the arrow that I'm going to use for hunting. And this will give you a good idea, from 350 all the way to 650 with a nice 500 grain straight in the middle. Something to also keep in mind, I've installed a peep, I've got my loop on, it's got the string vibration dampeners on. So if I can get close to 330, I'll be happy. And maybe with all the hardware or the bits and pieces that's on the string, I might get a little bit less than 330. But let's see. This is giving me 326.2 feet per second. Slightly under 330. Very close to 330 feet per second is what I've expected. In my opinion, with all the stuff on real life setup with everything on it, getting 326 feet per second with a 350 grain arrow at 29 inches, in my opinion, that's a really nice speed. But I do want to give it a go with a heavier arrow as well. This is a Easton Full Metal Jacket Dangerous Game shaft. Obviously the spine is fine for this bow. 244 feet per second. That is with a 650 grain arrow. But the arrow that I'll be using, a 500 grain arrow, I think that's a nice arrow to hunt most of the animals that I want to hunt in South Africa, all the way from your smaller plains game all the way up to the wildebeest and the zebra and the elands. Let's see what this is going to be. 277.7 feet per second. I like a speed close to 280 feet per second. The main reason being is it's going to be a lot easier for me to get really good broadhead flight with fixed blades. Obviously with mechanicals, I don't mind getting my speed up a little bit higher, but with some of the fixed blades, it is easier to just tune and get better flight around about 280 feet per second. And when the bow is a lot faster, obviously the faster the bow, the more noise there's going to be, the more drag there's going to be over the broadhead itself and the fletchers. 280 for me is a nice speed to shoot at, and the kinetic energy on this bow with that arrow is 85 foot-pound kinetic energy. So that is a massive amount of foot-pound kinetic energy. But what I do want to do is I want to shoot this through paper and see how this XTS system works. What is nice about the HBX Gen 4 cam system, and what's worth mentioning, at the shorter draw lengths, this cam is a really efficient cam. What we found at a setting of 28 inches, we got the same speed with a 650 grain arrow versus what we got with other bows and brands with 550 grain arrows. So 28 and 29 inches, this cam is shooting a lot faster than, for instance, the RX8 and the Alpha X models that was previous models. The HPX Gen 4 cam is really an efficient cam. Do remember, before you even start paper tuning, make sure that the cam timing is in and you've got the optimum spine, and make sure there is no knock pinch in your loop. I've got people asking me, I'm struggling the whole day, not getting a bullet hole, what's the reason? Go check for knock pinch. We've got a blank canvas here. This is the first shot I'm shooting through paper with this bow. There is a slight knock left tear, as you can see. So you can see the point is there on the right, which is great and fantastic. I'm not going to move my rest. I'm not going to have to put the bow in a bow press to make changes on this. Let's dive into the XTS system. With the shot that I've just shot through paper, you'll see that I've got a slightly left tear. So in other words, the arrow went through the paper like this, with the point to the right, the fletchers to the left. So with the XTS system, what's important is we've got 2 locking screws on the top, and we've got adjustment screws here on the bottom, and we've got the indication lines here on the limb pocket itself. So what is nice, that if you have adjusted your settings and you don't know where home base is, basically in the middle, and that's where you're going to start from. So because we got a left tear, we're going to start on the left. We are going to loosen the locking screw here. We're going to put the Allen key in the limb pocket itself, and I am going to tighten this limb pocket on this side. So you'll see this actually moving down. So I'm going to give this about a quarter turn, because I don't have a lot of movement that I need to do on paper. And what is important, what you do on the left side, you need to do on the right side, but just in the opposite direction. So I'm going to loosen this locking screw here, and you will see this indicator moving upwards. So I'm going to loosen this a little bit. I just want to get it in there. So I'm going to loosen this, and you'll see that locking screw just moving up ever so slightly. And that is the quarter turn that I've done. I've increased it on the left, I've decreased it on the right, and I'm just tightening the locking screws here. What you do on the top, you need to do at the bottom. So I'm going to do exactly the same at the bottom, where I'm going to increase the left pocket and I'm going to decrease the right pocket. And just these small adjustments should give us a perfect bullet hole. Now that I've done my adjustments for my horizontal adjustments, you need to remember that you can also do this for any vertical adjustments. But I'm going to dive into the XTS system in another video at a later stage. I want to get this through paper just to see how easy it was to make the adjustments. I did not need any bow press to make the adjustments. I did not have to move my wrist to make that change. Let's shoot it through paper to see if we're going to get that bullet hole. I'm going to take another shot just to make sure that I haven't done anything wrong. But you can clearly see that just by that quarter inch or quarter turn movements that I've made, I've immediately seen a change in the paper tear. So it means this XTS system is really working, and it's exactly what they say the way it's going to work. I've shot 3 shots. You can see with the last shot that I've shot that the actual knock is slightly high. And what I would usually do is I'll just move my wrist for a small adjustment like that. But because we've got the XTS, we are going to test it out and see how the XTS system works to eliminate the actual vertical adjustments. And we'll go through that now, how we're going to fix this knock high tear. With the knock slightly high, what we need to do, we need to remove a little bit of tension at the top, and we need to add more tension at the bottom. So what we're going to do at the top, we're going to do the opposite at the bottom. So it's a very slight change that we need to make. So we need to remove about a quarter turn on this. So removing it's going to be counterclockwise, about a quarter turn. What we do with the vertical tears, we need to do the same. Let me just get that nice and in there. There we go, a quarter inch there. We've loosened the screws at the top, and now we need to tighten both at the bottom, and this should eliminate that slight high knock that I'm getting on that paper. And there you go. There you have it. There's a nice, crisp, clean tear where you can see the fletches nicely compared to the others. And this was so easy to use. We've started out with a slight knock left tear, and we fixed that first. And then we got it slightly knock high, and then we got it perfect. It is usually recommended to start with vertical tears first to see that you can get it nice and in line before you start with the left and right tears and movements. It was nice to just check out the XTX system to see how it works and if it's as easy as they say. We've made quarter turn adjustments on the limb pockets. There's not a lot of movements that we've made on the limb pockets at all, and you can see the immediate changes on paper, which is so nice to see. The RX10, we took out the box, we've assembled this, we've shot it through paper, and using the XTS system, after 4 shots, we got a perfect bullet hole by making a slight left, fixing a slight left tear, fixing a slight knock high tear. The XTX system works really well, giving us the desired outcome that we wanted. But I am going to do an in-depth video on the XTX system on my next video, so make sure to subscribe and that you get notified on when this video is uploaded. I am most looking forward to using this XTX system when I'm going to do broadhead tuning. Then I don't have to fiddle with my rest itself, and this XTX system, in my opinion, is going to work really well for that purpose. I'm going to put this RX10 Ultra through its paces on the range, look at the accuracy, and compare it to the RX9 Ultra that I've used this whole season. I'm going to take this RX10 Ultra also out on a hunt and do a proper field test for it. Let me know if you're going to do any upgrades on your bow, and if you're going to look at looking at the RX10 Ultra. And remember that there's also an AX3 out with the same XTS system on the bow itself. Leave a comment down below, let me know your thoughts and if you've enjoyed this video, and please remember to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one.